Let's go, let's
Nice.
go. It's Eurovoxx crew in the house. That was
Wow.
like an 80s. That was like an 80s cartoon theme tune as well. So it fits Eurovision, and the background would have been pink. So it fits Eurovision
Of course.
this year. Guys, how are we? How is everyone? We're all
Very well.
extremely
tired.
tired, so we're
Great.
probably all talking no sense. But we have to say hello to people I can already see in live. We've got Morton V. Yes, actually, first rehearsals are over. Well, almost all first rehearsals. We've still got the big five in the Netherlands to come on Thursday. Is that right?
Mhm.
Thursday.
Mhm.
So yeah, the majority of the first rehearsals over, semi-finals at least. Morton, you're saying Bulgaria was your favourite. I can see Joanne Johnson. Always blow you a kiss. We've got Francesco. We've got Euroboy 4. From Greece, always good to see you. I can see Jose Santos. Hey,
Hola.
Jose. How you? Portugal were today. We'd love to know if you've seen the clip and what you thought. We'll be talking about that. George Makin. Who else we got? Ben Enti. Oh, thank you
Benenti, I see you
so much.
commenting in all of our videos, in all of our reactions, so we appreciate. Thank you very much.
And I have to say that these guys are amazing.
Wow.
That's all.
If you insist, I'll take it.
They're working like dogs or horses, whatever you want to say. Who we got? Vix Flash Films, Bulgaria. Well, Bulgaria got a great reaction in the press centre. Switzerland, maybe some mixed comments about Switzerland, but I'm sure we'll talk about the staging. And yes, Portugal was definitely one of my biggest surprises. So let's start in the beginning, shall we, guys? With Georgia. Clara, I know this was one that you particularly loved.
Yeah. I really like Georgia from the beginning. It's because I think it appeals to an audience that is a certain age and it's in a state of life of a more reflective state of life. Because for me, this song is like you sit down and at night in a deserted beach or in the mountains, and you just think about your life. And probably I'm in that stage of my life, and that's why I resonate so much. And then I also, considering the kind of song he wrote last year, this is a big step forward to another vital moment of his, I guess. So I had this imaginary storyline where like the tough guy fell in love. So
yeah, and I mean, we watched it from the press centre. Jess, you would have seen it from the virtual press centre. How did it look on that screen?
For me, I was a little bit underwhelmed just because I didn't feel like there was a lot happening on stage. I thought it was quite, I mean, I understand the song is kind of a very simple ballad, but I still would have liked to have seen more happening on the stage rather than him just kind of standing there singing or sitting there singing. But kind of visually it looked nice and the camera work was very good. It's just a bit empty for me.
Yeah, Tommy, he looked a bit he didn't look happy in two of the run-throughs that we saw.
He looked really uncomfortable, actually, and I don't know, maybe we're misreading his facial expressions, but I was really fascinated to wonder what Sasha Jean-Baptiste was going to do with that song, because she's more associated with the high tempo, big dance numbers. It did have her flair on it in terms of it looking very, very expensive and very produced, but he just looked like he didn't feel it, or he wasn't feeling it or something. But maybe it was just the nerves or the stress of the first day, the first rehearsal. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know what you saw of that, Stu, because Stu's on like the worst time zone for Eurovision, aren't you, Stu?
Currently, apparently it's like usually it's Australia who's in the worst time zone, but apparently they've been able to watch everything over there.
Really?
Because they don't sleep, probably.
I think that the rehearsals end because they end in the afternoon for you, and I think they end kind of late into the evening. So maybe like 1 a.m. Maybe if anyone's here from Australia, they can let us know. But yeah, so going to Georgia, I didn't really see a lot, and I really don't have a lot to say about it. I am curious, how was he vocally speaking?
Oh, really,
Very good.
really great.
Yeah, it was good. He I think on the second run through, from what I can remember, he played around with his voice and he didn't attempt kind of the higher notes. But I don't know how much you heard about the rehearsal, but there's one point where he's kind of sat on a box, I think, and he's got the lyrics are projected. The lyrics of the song are projected onto his body, basically onto his body and face. So it's very, very simple. I don't think we would have got anything that was over the top for Georgia. I think with a song like this, simple is pretty much all you can do. And bearing in mind a lot of the other stagings we've got and a lot of the other songs, simple is standout at the moment, really. And there was no Pink inside. I have to say, we almost had a day with no Pink until we got to Denmark, I believe, the last song.
Which
So
we were all
it's
expecting too. That was the one entry that we knew that we were going to be getting Pink.
Yes. And yeah, and they certainly didn't disappoint Denmark.
I like that. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go on.
I like that there's a little, maybe unintentional shout out to art history where Tornik is sitting like this. It reminds me of the sculpture of the Thinking Man.
The Thinking Man, yeah.
Yeah, I think some people would get it. So I think that was kind of genius.
Yeah. I have to say, it grew on me after seeing it live, and I had a feeling that would happen. And it is in itself, it's a really charming song. So I have nothing against the song. Is it going to stand out enough? I don't know. We'll have to find out. Hey, Dizzy B, how you doing? We'll blow you a kiss. Mwah. All going well here. Neil Era, you're a Georgia fan. You think it needs atmosphere and for him to convey, I think, the message of the.
I really like his low voice. It sounded really strong, steady, and I was amazed that someone could go that low.
Yeah. He played around with the arrangements a lot. He went like, really, really, really low in the second run through. Like, is that called baritone when he's like, it was like down there, very low.
Oh, no, no idea. I just call it deep.
Yeah.
Deep. Hey, Aoife D, how you doing? Good to see you back. Jose Santos,
yes.
You find, yeah, it is actually very meditative. And I always say, like, you would be on a beach, you'd close your eyes, you'd hear the waves, and you can listen to a song. Like that. You're a fan. You think the problem is a collective euphoria in the audience that he will meet at the moment he goes to stage? Are you saying there won't be euphoria in the audience, or that there will?
No, I think that the problem with the song is that this is a very meditative song, and he's going to face a very euphoric audience.
Ah, okay. And they will be a very euphoric, crazy audience because they've been waiting 2 years for Eurovision. So Ben Enter, you enjoyed it. This is what I love about Eurovision. You know, one man's cup of tea could be someone else's cup of coffee. Yeah, that's
I mean, look, like, obviously that's not the kind of phrase that we would use particularly, but hey, we know what goes on in the Eurovision sphere, and lots of people do not hold back with their comments. So I would say that it applies. One man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's it. That's what I was trying to think of. I've literally I'm so excited, guys, because I've been here now for 4-5 days, I think, and I haven't had a cup of tea yet. And I've finally, a British person without a cup of tea is, well, I don't know what you'd call that, but I finally got my tea, so I'm happy.
You call them a Jess.
Heretic.
Yeah.
Or to be really punny, you'd call them British because they're without a T.
British.
So hi-fi.
So good. Oh my god.
I can tell it's not late at night where you are.
Yeah.
Who was after Georgia?
I am going to use that.
Yeah. Who was after? Guys in the live, keep telling us what clips you've seen today and which ones you've liked from today's rehearsals.
Albania. After Georgia was Albania.
How could I forget the power of Angela Peristeri? Tommy.
Yeah, so I saw it, and after myself and Clara had seen it, we kind of just turned to each other and said, yeah, she's ready to go. She doesn't need to do anything else. It was so slick, so rehearsed, really perfect, really dramatic. I love the smoke effects that they used, and it was really in sync with the music. So every time there was like one of those big strong notes within the song, there was like billows of smoke coming up behind her. Yeah, so very, very dramatic and perfect for the song.
And it starts with the red, very Albanian. Not a huge surprise. Jess, because Jess, you were on the fence with this song, from what I can remember.
Yeah, so before the contest, I wasn't a massive fan. Now I've been converted, and I absolutely was blown away by her rehearsal today in terms of the staging and the vocals. I just thought that it was really nailed, and they just completely nailed it. And for me, I'm actually now thinking that this could be a potential top 10 for the final. Like, it was that good, in my opinion.
Wow.
I don't know whether
okay.
I'm kind of, you know, what's the word? I don't know if I'm thinking too far ahead, but anything's possible, right?
Interesting. How many songs have you got in your top 10?
A lot more than 10.
I normally have about 25 songs in my top 10, so it's always so difficult to predict. I mean, Clara, she was an absolute powerhouse on stage.
Yes.
The
vocals were amazing. I really like how the staging plays with her silhouette, and how actually basically the scenography behind her, the background is just smoke coming in, columns of smoke in different colors. Maybe it's just one column, but and then there's 3-4 columns and they change colors, but it doesn't need any more. It's just her and it's just her and the way she walks, the way she stands on stage, that carries the performance effortlessly, and her vocals are so amazing. And as Tommy pointed out, we are seeing a trend alert of silver dresses.
4.
Yes, it's a 4th silver dress, like with sequins and tassels that we see, and I actually like those kind of dresses. I want one for myself, and maybe for you guys too. But
well, it's caused me a problem because everyone seems to be wearing silver dresses now, so now I've got to change my outfit.
Yes.
I thought I had it all sorted, but no one wants to turn up in the same thing that everyone else is wearing. But yeah, and we met her today after her rehearsal, and she was still holding back on those vocals as well, so she wasn't giving it everything. So hopefully we're in for a real treat when it comes to the semi-final. I can't wait to, well, I won't see it in the arena, but I can't wait for someone to see it in the arena and get that full experience of her voice kind of live inside the arena. Stu, I'm hoping I've got this right, but I think Portugal were next after Albania. Oh, there we go. Portugal. Yeah. Well, let's talk about exactly why that is, because did you see Portugal's run through, Stu?
No, and I'm a bit disappointed that I did, because not only do I like the song, but apparently it's been great, and a lot of people are calling this a qualifier now.
Mm-hmm.
Well. I have to say, I can't remember who I was talking to. I think it might have been Clara. Was it you when I was with when they performed it in the rehearsal today? I was covered in goosebumps. Yes, I have to say, they look sharp. They're dressed immaculately. They're all in kind of their, like, you know, dinner jackets and bow ties. They're set up very nicely on stage. His voice is incredible. It's such a distinctive voice, such great tones. There wasn't a note out of place. It's a standout song for me now because it's very different to kind of everything else we've been hearing. But the staging, they've got absolutely bang on. It was just stunningly beautiful. I'm not going to say simple because there was lots of different elements to it. But it was just stunning. And it's, you know, it really has changed my opinion on that song. I absolutely love it. And I can definitely see Portugal as going through to the final and also doing very well in the final. I think the juries especially are going to lap this up. But yeah, it was just stunning. And there's makes you emotional. One of my favorite bits, I don't want to ruin it too much, but there's a graphic of someone kind of walking alongside Pedro, who's the lead singer, and also there's a bigger orchestra featured somehow, but it's just done so tastefully. And I really wasn't expecting it, because I was expecting Portugal to just come with pretty much themselves on the stage and maybe some nice lighting, but yeah, absolutely blew me away.
I'd love to know who did the staging for Portugal.
They've done a fantastic job. Let me just say it one more time. Blew me away. Go, Jess.
And it blew me away too. I would have to agree with everything you said. It was, I mean, I honestly was thinking they were just going to be on stage with their instruments like they were in Festival de Canção. But then when we saw all of the graphics that come later on in the rehearsal, it was a very pleasant and lovely surprise that I wasn't expecting. And I feel like they've been able to kind of portray the message of the song perfectly through everything that's happening with the backdrop, which is pretty impressive in my opinion. And again, this is another one that I'm thinking could be top 10 in the final, maybe.
Yeah, it's actually I don't know if you can see, but it's actually given me goosebumps just talking about their rehearsal today. It's transformed it.
We've got a question about, will Portugal being wholly in English affect it either positively or negatively? I mean, usually the trend is that we've been seeing, like, in the last few decades for Eurovision, is that English is the favored language. Obviously, this is the first time that Portugal has sent a song entirely in English. But I don't think that really matters when it comes to the general audience, because obviously they've won with a song that's completely in Portuguese, but they've also done really poorly at times, unfortunately, and wrongly. But yeah, I don't really think it's going to affect it when it comes to the score, but obviously it's still a new thing that people are really excited to see how it's going to be received.
Yeah,
and I mean,
not every...
especially because of the lyric of the story behind the song. It's about the prostitute that the singer met in Amsterdam. Probably the English language or the exchange of that conversation happened in English, so it would make sense that the song is also in English to be more authentic.
Yeah, I don't see it harming it. And not everyone is going to like this kind of song, but I think they will really appreciate the story, and that story is told so well. And they will appreciate the band for what they're doing, I think. And this is exactly what I love about Eurovision rehearsals, is every year we make the mistake of going into it thinking we know what's going to happen. Everyone's got their favourites to win, their favourites to qualify. And you almost feel like it's totally pointless doing that, because
absolutely,
when it gets to rehearsals, and that's what makes this whole experience so special. And Stu, I was so excited when I saw it, and I couldn't wait to tell you about the staging. I can't wait for you to see it, because I know you spoke to the guys a couple of weeks ago, and they're really fantastic, and they've worked hard to get where they are as well.
Totally.
So yeah, I can't wait for you to see it.
And they're highly respected in Portugal as well. So I'm really hoping, because it was for Nive, who was competing with an English language song this year in Festival de Canção. There was this debate about, should we send a song in English, as there tends to be in other countries as well. And if this proves to be successful, then maybe the naysayers will be quiet, and the opportunity for Portugal to send a song in any language they like will seem more plausible.
You know what I like about the Black Mamba as well, and and Portugal in general this year, is they're quite humble. When I was telling them how the staging of the song had affected me, they didn't kind of understand the impact, and that's what I like. When they don't even, it's not like they've even attempted to do something that will have a huge impact, but it's just worked, and I think that in itself is fantastic. Anyway, I could talk about Portugal all evening and everyone will switch off. So, good evening, Bjorn. I can see you. Sorry. Bulgaria, yes. Well, another one that everyone was talking about. Clara, I know you had particular interest in the staging for this one.
Sorry, I had a bee coming in.
A bee?
I'm a bee, yes. That's why I went like...
Bee for Bulgaria.
Bee for Bulgaria. That's hilarious. Well, I really like the staging, especially because out of the video clip, you couldn't really understand how that would be staged. And I really like the concept. It's like herself on an island surrounded by ocean, because it's the ocean of emotion. And it's the lyrics. They've taken the song and whatever physical elements you could fit from the song into the staging. And I think that's brilliant. She's standing like a lonely island in an ocean of emotion, and then there's like some sand falling, representing the pass of time, and I think it's very beautifully done.
Yeah, and it's because she kind of walks up this, it's not a rock as such, however you described it, and she's walking, and some of the camera angles were really good when she was. I just think visually it looked, it was simple, but it was very, very effective, and the focus is on her, and that's exactly what you need with a song like this, and with someone that has a voice like her.
Yeah, I'm very intrigued by her voice because it's a whispery, but it's like very strong whispery sometimes.
Yeah. Stu, did you see Bulgaria?
Nope. Again, it was.
Oh, no.
I needed a good night's sleep last night. So the first one that I saw was right after this, which was Finland.
What
Yeah.
a great wake up.
What a way to wake up.
But I've heard really great things. Obviously, I'm sad I missed it because this has left quite a big impact, it seems. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to wait to see before I give any comments.
And
Well, at least now that we've seen. Oh, sorry. I was going to say, at least now that Stu's seen them, he knows which ones he needs to get up for now for the second rehearsals.
And I like the stage lighting is very soft and goes from blue, like a very different, not neon blue that we've seen so far, but it's a very cerulean blue, maybe cerulean blue. Okay, this is getting very technical. Like blue with hints of yellow, gold. It's just very soft light, like break of dawn, and it's a very soothing light and very different to what we've seen so far.
Nice.
So, Stu, Tommy, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think your name's actually there on the screen and I still can't get it right.
It does help, yeah. To be honest, okay, the staging was quite impressive, and it's probably the most elaborate staging that we've ever seen from Bulgaria as far as I can remember. But there was something missing for me. I don't know what it was. It didn't really have a big impact on me. I think it was because we had so many engaging performers earlier in the day, the three that had preceded. But for me, it seemed a bit aloof. Maybe that was the intention, but she did seem a bit aloof in her performance. But maybe that will come together later. But yeah, it didn't really impress me that much. I was a little bit bored, actually. I'm sorry.
Hey, Rafa in Baku, how you doing? And also, Mark, I saw Mark saying that the second semi turned out to be much more powerful than predicted. I think we'd possibly all agree with that.
Yeah. But going back to what Tommy said, oh, sorry, goes to.
Just quickly, I would still say that semifinal 1 is harder to call when we're talking about qualifiers, but definitely in semifinal 2, we've seen a lot of entries that were not really being considered now, and that's it.
Yeah, this was meant to be the sleepy part. If you remember when we were talking about running orders, we had kind of Portugal, Georgia, Albania, Bulgaria all together. It was meant to be the sleepy part of the contest, but we had the power from Albania, from Angela. We had the beautiful staging, so lots of people are going to be woken up again, I think, in this part of the semi. Lara?
Getting on what Tommy was saying, yes, I agree. There's something maybe slightly missing, and it's this warmth from Victoria, because she barely looks at the camera, so she's more in her own bubble, and maybe that makes it hard to connect in some parts. Yeah,
but I think that's how they've been clever with the staging, because I think they've got to know her as a person, and she's actually quite shy. She doesn't love the attention. She's confident in what she does, but I don't think she likes the limelight. She's very kind of into herself. So I think they've had to work with that when they come up with the staging and really show her vulnerability, and hopefully it will come across as endearing to the viewer, but not Tommy.
Too hard.
Who was next?
Next was Finland.
I mean, God, it was subtle. I didn't really know they were there.
I loved it from the beginning to the end. They're my favorites. They have the energy. It felt like a rock show. I think there's no surprise in their staging. It's kind of similar to the UMK, but like amplified and polished, and I just like it very much. I think it was very clever that they colored their middle finger red. It's because the Eurovision rules would not allow them to put the middle fingers up. And I can't say anything else that I like them. And that's one of my favorite songs this year.
Yeah, it's almost like there was going to be not much surprise with Finland. We knew exactly what we were getting, and we got it, and we got it loud, and it was fantastic. Exactly what we wanted.
To wake us up from Victoria.
To wake Tommy up for Victoria.
Definitely did.
Jess, how did you find it?
I think for me, Finland was just to be expected, what they delivered. With them being kind of like a rock band, there's not too much you can do with the staging. But I think what they have done suits them and their song very well. The colours they have going on stage, the red is really suits the song in my opinion, and they sounded and looked awesome on stage. So I'm excited to see kind of this in the live show with an audience, because I think that'll be even better.
Yeah, it's just a shame it's not as big an audience as this song really deserves, and we're not quite sure how the audience are going to be, what they're going to be allowed to do. I imagine they're all going to be seated, or I don't know actually. I need to find out how the audience are going to be treated when they get to the arena. Stu, so from what I can remember, you weren't the biggest fan of this,
No.
and I would imagine because we haven't really got anything different that your opinion may not have changed, but let's see.
Well, in this case, it's a matter of taste. So I don't think that there would have been anything that would have saved it for me. But again, I'm not counting it out. I'm not going to say because I don't like it, it's not going to qualify like some people like to do. Look, they're bringing variety to the show, and yeah, it's a high energy performance, and that's exactly what this demands. So yeah, I don't know. There's nothing else to say.
Who was next after Finland?
Tommy,
I'm just assuming that someone's got a list here.
Oh, the night is coming.
Latvia.
Oh, go on, Tommy. What did you think of the Queen, Samantha Tina?
Samantha Tina, yeah. First of all, yeah, high drama. She looked great in, of course, her signature green colors. Her voice was pretty good, that loud, strong voice that we've come to know from Samantha Tina. The choreography, the crown, everything that we expected to be there was there. Yeah, and she brought her unique dance moves, and especially halfway during the song, she does kind of a circular motion with the camera, and she's giving it all her crazy dance moves, and it looks so epic. It was so good.
Yeah. Jess, you saw this one?
I did, and I thought it was good, but not great. I was a bit let down by the staging. I kind of thought that they could have brought more to the stage. It did kind of feel a bit empty in some parts of the song, like there wasn't enough going on. But other than that, I still think it's, a good, solid performance in terms of staging and vocals. I just wish there could have been a more kind of fuller and bigger staging than what we currently have.
Yeah, I think we were maybe expecting kind of a big explosion of staging, and maybe we didn't quite get that from the very small parts. I didn't see a full run through. Clara, because you're a huge fan of Samantha and this song, so how did you feel after seeing how they were staging it?
I understand exactly what you mean, that it feels a bit empty, but I think it's because they're taking very wide-angled camera shots, because when the camera angles are closer and they change, it's very dynamic and it looks full, because there's like the background, the backdrop and the floor design are very intricate, and they're moving, and it's just like when I think the emptiness comes from very wide angle shots. So if they manage to keep the focus on the dancer and Samantha and her moves and not zoom out, then I think that's pretty much what they need. And I'm really happy that Latvia this year has no red on the stage, because even though it's part of their flag and it's a national color, we see it almost every year.
I have to agree quite a bit on the camera work. And really, it isn't just about the camera, but it's also about the movement overall. It felt way too slow for the kind of energy that the song has. And I mean, yesterday I was kind of saying the opposite about the Czech Republic, how it was way too fast. But it's especially because there's a lot of wide shots. There's a lot of shots coming from up above too, which makes her and the dancers look small. I have to say I'm quite concerned about this one, and I say this as somebody who really loves the song. It's just so unique. Samantha Tina is such a unique artist, and this blend of sounds, having like a flamenco tinged trap song with gospel elements in it is like how it's one weird Frankenstein of a song that I absolutely love, you know. But I am quite concerned about it as it is now. Maybe there can be some changes to refine it. The thing that I did like about it when it came to like the camera work and the images and the movement was the start with the really dark lighting and her being backlit. And the moment that Tommy mentioned as well, when building up to the final chorus, and they have the steady cam moving around her as she does a dance move, and it's you know, she's in the center. But yeah, I'm concerned, I have to say.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's some really, really good camera angles, and there are some really poor camera angles. Like there's no in between.
Well, you know, this is what the rehearsals are, aren't they? It's to sort out a lot of these kind of technicalities. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see the second rehearsal in a few days' time, how we're feeling about that. But I'm with you, Jess. It felt a bit empty, and what you said, Stu, about some of the camera angles making the dancers seem small, it just didn't fill the stage for me. And I think a song like this needs to fill the stage. And then, well, I remember who came next. It was Switzerland. Now, Stu, you this impacted you a lot when you saw the run through. Yes,
it definitely did. I have to mention, for the second day in a row, we were having some technical issues on the online press center. So there were very few entries that I was able to see a full take of uninterrupted. Somehow the stars aligned so that I was able to see one of Switzerland, and like incredible. It's just when you watch it, you'll notice those elements of a Sacha Jean-Baptiste performance, especially like the one that came to mind was Bulgaria 2017. But it's just done in such a beautiful way. Guion has such a beautiful voice. It's flawless the entire time. There were some parts obviously that they're still sorting out when it comes to camera angles, but you know, the structure that he's on is really striking. His voice is silky smooth, and really that climax with the lights going off and him moving around after he delivers that big note. It's pure emotion, and I definitely see that this is in a good spot to win.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think the only issue that I had was that for me, this, you know, the staging is very good, the whole concept, but for me, he's over choreographed. I feel like he's doing too much, and it doesn't always look completely natural, and that's a real shame for me, because that's going to be the drawback on Switzerland performance, and is a bit of a surprise. I wasn't expecting him to be so choreographed during this performance. I don't know how anyone else feels about that, but it didn't work 100%. But yeah, there's lots that they need to work on, but definitely a potential winner just for him and that voice. And the song is outstanding, and I think even if they didn't get the staging completely right, the song and him would be enough to be a potential winner of the contest this year.
I would say that's how I started to feel with the movements when the song opened, but then as it progressed, I forgot about that entirely, and I was just completely absorbed.
I do miss the element of the universe, and because for me the video clip was so beautiful and striking, and I miss hints of that, because it was so airy, and it got me really on board with Switzerland. This staging, not so much.
I also really miss seeing the universe and the stars, because it is visually, it's so striking. But maybe we've seen a lot of that in Eurovision previously. I don't know. Maybe they're going for you know. I mean, the staging is like something that we've not seen before. It is very striking in that way. But I was really hoping to get, when you've got something like a universe that you can get lost in, it's like getting lost in his voice and getting lost in his song. I feel that there's more going on now, that people aren't going to get so lost.
But it is a bit on the nose, don't you think? Like to say something and see it's a bit on the nose, like where you say something and then it appears, which
like too literal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
I agree. I think
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. No, I think it might have been so tempting for them to just have him sitting at a piano and use some visuals of space and the universe and lots of rotation and stuff like that. And it probably would have been fine because the song's great and he's a great singer. But I actually love that they went kind of outside of the box, pun intended, and came up with this concept that was something really unexpected for him to be doing contemporary dance moves or some kind of interpretive dance with, within that broken cube structure, whatever it was. It just impressed me so much, and for me, it really solidified its favorite status 100%.
Yeah,
It looks like a winning song, so I'm not saying that it doesn't. And the staging is really impactful. The staging concept is fantastic. It's just I didn't feel there were parts where I felt slightly awkward watching it, and I really didn't want to feel like that watching Switzerland. I wanted to be as blown away as I was when I first heard the song and saw the video. But it might just take, there'll be some things that they will want to change slightly. So come second rehearsal, I might be feeling completely different. I might be totally on board, but I'm not taking anything away from him or the song, because I still think this has the potential to win the contest, and deservedly so.
Yeah, maybe I missed the dynamism of this kind of, because we didn't see only the universe, we also saw mountains and how the camera was zooming in from mountains and the road, and maybe that could have been incorporated if universe was very obvious. Universo.
But I guess that's one of the problems with getting that first experience from a music video, because that's how you attach your experience with the song, and you associate that. And then when you're presented with something different, it can at times make you feel let down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a shame of having such a great, it's the bad part of having a great video clip.
Right.
And it's like we said with Moldova yesterday, the casual viewer won't have seen his video. Well, maybe more so with John's Tears, because it's actually been quite successful around Europe. But, a lot of people won't have seen it. So what they're seeing will be their first impression of the song.
Yes, indeed.
I could just see Miko Harley in the comments wants our opinion on Angela Peristeri. So we have already spoken about her, but she was a vocal powerhouse. Beautiful staging. She looked stunning in her dress. I think Jess even said it has potential to go top 10 in the final.
Yeah,
now.
But I'm rubbish at making predictions, so now watch it crash and burn.
Jess, actually, I always, when it comes around to this fortnight, I always listen to you, because you get a lot of this stuff right.
Wow, recently I have. Must be the Eurovoxx effect.
Well, there you go. But yeah, you should be really proud of Angela in Albania. We had a really nice chat with her after her rehearsal, and she's really working hard for you guys. So keep showing her the support. Anyone else on Albania?
I think she has a really commanding presence, and she is. It's really hard to represent a country on your own, but she makes it look very effortless.
And this is how it's weird when we talk about some stages feeling empty and some, because she filled that stage.
Yeah.
That's a really great point, Andy.
But then we can be talking about another country and we're saying, it felt like there wasn't enough going on, or the stage felt empty. So I guess it really depends on the type of song, and maybe the vocal ability as well. Although we were saying that about Samantha Tina, and you can't say she doesn't have amazing vocal ability. So
I think it's a mixture of things. Like I think it has to do with your stage presence, which it doesn't surprise me that in addition to having amazing vocals, Angela would be doing very well in that regard. I think the difference with Samantha Tina, again, it's camera angles, because having that angle from up above and having empty space that's filled with lots of color makes it harder to focus on her. And because I'm not opposed to the color palette that they have. Some people aren't quite digging the gold and the green, and I think that they could make it work, but I just think it needs to be. What's that?
In Latvia.
Yes, in Latvia.
Slytherin. Oh, sorry, I didn't understand what you said. But yeah, I think it just needs to be toned down a little bit.
Yeah. I can
Tell me, who do you want to see?
Bring them up, Stu. Let's talk to as many people as we can. I can see Alexandros, who we haven't seen for a little while. So hey to you, Alexandros.
I got it now.
Our top 10, and it's like, how long do you have? So I've got about 30 songs in my top 10 right now. Alexandros, best for you in rehearsal were Latvia, Bulgaria, Albania, and Switzerland. Others moderate, nothing great. I'd love to know what you think of Portugal because it blew me away today. Miko Harley is giving us a thank you for making Eurovision better. We try our best, and we're the whole team here and even not here at home are doing everything they can to bring you as much coverage and content as possible. Obviously, we have me, Clara, and Tommy here in Rotterdam, trying to get as much on site as we can. But then we've got the rest of the team working in the virtual press room and from home. So keep supporting us as well, because we can't do it without you guys. Oh, we forgot about
for like the third or fourth time, and this is one of your favorites. So how is that possible?
We were saying in the press centre, we haven't seen any pink today. Oh, but wait, Denmark's coming.
And they brought all the pink we didn't see in one full day.
Yeah, I still stand by what I was saying. I can't knock the performance. I wasn't able to see it in full because I was involved in something else. But I did see glimpses of it, and it's kind of what we expected. There's nothing different really to what they did. Did he walk on the stage though? I didn't see the very beginning.
He did.
Does he? So he still makes his 80s star entrance onto the stage.
Mm-hmm.
But it just still makes me happy. The only worry I have for Denmark now is that in any other year, the staging for this would have stood out so much. However, the staging has kind of already been done by other countries
by 334
in some way or another.
Countries.
Sorry.
By 334 countries competing.
Yeah,
it feels like that.
It's pretty much the same as Albina's.
Yeah,
Albina,
and
and Moldova has that wireframe as well, as Stu has called it. Wireframe, right?
Wireframe, yeah.
Okay. All I worry about now is that it's not going to stand out as much as it should, and it's actually going to be seen as more jokey, as I think it's intended to be, which will be a real shame for me, because I would love to see this go through to the final. We need this in the final.
But it is jokey, right? Like this is.
It is, but I think it will be seen as more jokey now.
Well, here, go ahead, Clara.
No, but in this case, this 80s staging makes a lot of sense. It makes less sense on other countries. So please, just focus this stage on this one that is really meant for this song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, the thing that works about it is the fact that it's a bit of a joke, and they're playing up the cheesiness of it, so it makes it enjoyable. But the thing that concerns me is the fact that if Switzerland is going to have the same kind of emotional impact on as many people as it did for me, then to go to this right after that might be way too much of a mood shift that people might it might come off as not what you want to see in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know exactly what you mean. People will be so struck by Switzerland. They won't be ready for Denmark, It's a dramatic shift in style.
Are you ready for this?
But then I guess if Switzerland is making people kind of maybe emotional and maybe nostalgic and kind of in deep thought, then Denmark's going to bring them out of that and get them up on their feet and partying and just kind of take away the sadness and bring the happiness, maybe.
But that's like a splash of cold water after.
But they might actually help. They might actually help each other.
Well, because the thing is, I don't feel sad when I watch Switzerland's performance. It does make me feel a little teary-eyed, but not out of sadness, more out of, I don't know. It's a very it's a feeling that's difficult to describe, and that's what I think is so effective about it.
But whatever happens, what a great way to end the semi-finals with a song like Denmark. It's, you know, no one's going to be able to watch it, regardless of whether people might think the song is naff or dated or, you know, whatever people's opinions, they're going to enjoy watching it. There's nothing about it that you can't enjoy when watching it.
And that lead singer,
it's just 3 minutes of fun.
Exactly, and that lead singer, he has the charisma and stage presence that like money can't
completely
buy. You can just watch him.
People are going to love his dance moves. You know, he's although, you know, we've got a few silly dance moves as well, haven't we, this year? We've got Daddy and
the Roop,
someone else, the Roop,
Natalia Gordienko.
Are they silly?
I don't think she means them to be
Natalia.
I don't know. I think they're meant to be serious.
He could have staged that. He's very serious.
Maybe not silly in the same way, but you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
like goofy, like you know,
yeah.
But yeah, I think I do still think a lot of people will like Denmark. I do feel it will appeal to maybe an older audience as opposed to kind of, you know, like 18 to 25-year-olds. You know, people that might remember the time on which it is based, but. It's harmless, it's fun, and you know, I really, really want to see those guys in the final. And the staging is literally like the inside of my head.
For me, it depends on if they occupy a space in the final that I would prefer for someone else. But if not, then absolutely. And to be honest, there's fewer songs in semifinal 2 that I really want in the final. So there's room in Stu's final, I'll have to say.
But guys, we will wrap it up shortly because we've had another very long day.
There's a very interesting conversation about Stu in the live chat.
I can't tell if this is coming from somebody that I know.
Yeah, I think so too.
It could not be. It could be a coincidence. But anyway.
I'm
sorry to steal the limelight. Sorry to steal the limelight.
I want to know what trouble Stu's causing.
Some guy named Chris asked if Stu is single. And someone responded, "I don't think so. He's not."
Okay. But yeah, we'll wrap it up because we've got lots more to do tomorrow. I've seen some names I haven't seen for a while, so thank you guys for coming back. Also, Marco Stanley, I think you said you only found us today or recently, so thank you so much for subscribing. And guys, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. Second rehearsals for the semi-finals start tomorrow. So we've got countries such as Lithuania and lots of others. Slovenia as well. We need to see
Sweden, Australia,
yeah,
Ireland, Cyprus, blah blah blah.
I can't believe we've literally done a full circle now of all the semi-final performances, and it feels like we've been here for about 3 weeks. But it's, you know, we're so lucky to have this experience here, and we're definitely doing all that we can for you guys. So do keep supporting us.
Can I also say too, there have been a lot of questions that we didn't get to tonight. So leave them in the comments because then that gives us more time to respond to them. And maybe I won't respond to some of them, but a particular one. But we will respond to the Eurovision related ones.
Yeah. But guys, thank you so much, Stu, Jess, Clara, and Tommy. Well, I'll see you very shortly.
Yeah, I'll see you in like 12 hours, maybe?
Yeah. So, guys, have a good evening. We'll see you all soon.
Bye.
Bye.